everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to go over Unit 3 in the book English for Writing Business Emails. Now if you haven't picked up the book yet, please consider doing so. There are links in the video description down below where you can easily order a book for your information and also to follow along with these lessons and also to access other information that might not be directly addressed in these video lessons. But we're on page 31 today, and this is Unit 3, collocations. Now collocations, what exactly are collocations, you might ask? Well, that's a good question. Thank you for asking. Simply put, collocations are word combinations that sound right to a native speaker. And collocations occur in every language. When you grow up and you're exposed to your native language, of course you hear a lot of expressions, and there are certain ways to express certain ideas. And usually people in different cultures, different linguistic backgrounds will use certain set expressions, or they'll combine verbs and prepositions, or verbs and nouns, adjectives and nouns. They'll use certain combinations more often than other possibilities. And over time, these combinations become set. And if you want to express this type of idea, it's very easy to just use the common collocation that everybody is using. Let's take a look at a few examples here. For example, in English, if you're talking about coffee, right, and you're asking somebody, how do you like your coffee? Of course, many people will say, I like my coffee strong. I like strong coffee. If you are a learner of English and you look in your dictionary, perhaps you're thinking of strong in your native language, and of course it's a different word. And you look in the dictionary and you see, okay, in my language, we have this word for strong. In English, it translates to strong, but it can also be translated to tough. So you might go to a coffee shop and say, well, I'd like a cup of tough coffee, please. And of course, the people at the coffee shop will think, tough coffee? What in the world is tough coffee? Because the combination, the collocation is strong coffee. So it sounds strange. And this is why many people, we have difficulty expressing our ideas or our thoughts in a new language where we're not familiar with the collocations in that language. And that's why collocations are very important for you to pay attention to. Well, by the way, the word collocations is not a common word. Most people in English, if you ask people on the street, what is a collocation, most people will not know what that word means. This is kind of a technical word that is used for language learning. So of course, when you're learning a language, it's important to understand what collocations are and their importance in learning a new language. Because, when you get the collocations incorrect, in the best case scenario, it sounds amusing. People understand you, but they say, yeah, that sounds weird. Obviously, this person's not a native speaker. But in the worst case scenario, it could cause confusion, misunderstandings, and especially in emails where it's very important to be precise, to use accurate language, because they can't see the rest of the message. They can't see your body language. They cannot hear the tone of your voice. So all that you have is the vocabulary, the written word on the page. It's very important to be precise, obviously, and you don't want to create misunderstandings or confusion with your readers of your emails. So a couple more examples. We talked about strong coffee. Of course, everybody knows fast food. That's a very common collocation. Fast food. The food that you go to a quick restaurant, a restaurant that serves you food very quickly, you go get some fast food. But it sounds strange to say, let's go get some quick food. Quick food, that sounds weird. It's like, do we have to catch the food? Is it quick? What's going on? No, fast food is the accepted expression. Everybody knows it. There's no question or confusion when you hear, quick food, fast food. Okay, that's what everybody says. That is kind of the power of collocations, right? You want to be understood quickly and easily. You want to sound like a native speaker, so collocations are important. Another one that I've noticed in Korean, this is kind of like Konglish, again, when people are thinking in Korean and trying to translate directly to English, of course, we hear some broken collocations and it sounds strange. For example, in a car, I hear people might talk about a back mirror. But what is a back mirror? That sounds strange in English. It sounds, is there a mirror on my back? That's weird, right? In English, we would say rear view mirror. So rear view mirror, that's the mirror in the center on the windshield. The mirrors on the side, on the doors, those are called side mirrors. And the last one that we have here is heavy traffic. You might look at the dictionary, the word in your own language, and think heavy translates to heavy, or it could be large, right? So, but of course we don't say large traffic. That sounds very strange. It's heavy traffic. So these are collocations. Now, collocations can be strong or weak. What are some examples? Well, idioms are a very good example of very strong collocations. An idiom, of course, is a, 2-word, 3-word, 4-word, several word combination that expresses a certain idea. And idioms are great examples of strong collocations because you can't really change or exchange one word in the idiom for a synonym because it does sound strange. Let me give you an example. Now, you may or may not know the idiom on the tip of my tongue. What does this mean? Very quickly, what it means is that you're trying to remember, like, for example, somebody's name, right? You know their name. It's right there. It's just on the edge. You're about to say it. You can't say it right away, but, give yourself 10 seconds, 30 seconds, you'll get that person's name. It's right on the tip of your tongue. I know it. Just give me a few seconds. I'll remember that person's name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Well, if you take a look at this idiom, everybody understands that in English. It's on the tip of my tongue. Give me a few seconds. I'll come up with it. Well, tip, what's a synonym of tip? Tip could be a synonymous with edge. So, but if you say on the edge of my tongue, it's on the edge of my tongue, that sounds strange. It sounds a little bit odd. I mean, people might understand what you're saying, but they'll immediately know that's not the correct expression, right? So that's why it's important to, when you learn idioms, don't change them. Don't try to substitute any of the words in the idioms because they do sound strange. Now, other strong idioms are words that there are only a few pairings possible. For example, you hear one word, but when you hear that word, you associate other words that go with that word. There are only a few possible combinations. For example, crime. Crime is a noun. What is the verb that is normally associated with crime? It's not do. You wouldn't say he did a crime. You would say he committed a crime. So commit a crime is usually the combination that we have. That's why it sounds strange, when I hear some people say, they're talking about a news story perhaps and say, oh, I heard this person did a murder, or they did, some type of crime, or, financial crime perhaps. No, they didn't do it. They committed it. Sure, they did it, but we don't say it that way. We say he committed perjury. He committed fraud. Not he did fraud. That's weird, right? No, you commit a crime. Another example, deal. When you hear the word deal, what words are usually associated with deal? There's only a few combinations. For example, after deal, what preposition do we usually use? Well, you deal with something. You deal with, and what do you deal with? You deal with an issue, or you deal with a problem. Negative things. You don't deal with something that's positive. That would sound strange, right? Oh, I have to deal with a win. I won something yesterday. I have to deal with it. What? What do you mean you have to deal with it? That's great. That's good. That's something positive. You don't deal with something positive. You deal with something negative, and you deal with it. You don't deal on it. You don't deal at it. You don't deal to it. You deal with it. So as you can see, collocations are very important to pay attention to. When you learn words, and this is what I recommend to all my students, when you learn new vocabulary, don't just learn that word in isolation. Learn which words are associated with that word. Because when you do that, you're kind of like building blocks to express grammatically and easily understood sentences, especially when you're writing emails. A little bit more about collocations. I showed you some examples of strong collocations. What are some examples of weak collocations? Weak collocations are basically words that have many possible combinators, or many other words can be associated with that word. What are some examples? Very quickly, we have large. The word large, of course, it's an adjective, something that's very big, huge. There are many words that you can combine with large. Of course, you could say it's a large apartment, it's a large car, it's a large room, it's a large sofa. We cannot predict what comes after large because there's so many combinations. Another example is expensive. Again, there are many things that can be expensive. So expensive house, that is a weak collocation. It's not a strong collocation. Strong collocations are words that are normally associated with each other. And that's what we're looking at in Unit 3. That's a kind of a lengthy introduction into this unit. So what we're looking at and what our target is for this unit is what common collocations can we find in emails. And on page 32, I've listed 18 common collocations. Of course, there might be more, but these are very common collocations that you might find in an email. And it's important to know these expressions. Okay, so we'll study them together, and hopefully you can use them next time you write an email. And you don't have to worry about, each word and which word do I have after this next word. Because as you can see, these are kind of like building blocks. If you know these combinations, part of your sentence is already written for you. So you can just plug it into your email where it goes. Okay, so let's review these 18 different collocations that are very common in emails. And at the bottom of page 32, there is a box with words that go in the blanks for each one of the exercises. Of course, I don't have that on these slides here. What we're going to do is just go over the sentences, and I'll give you the answers, of course. This is on page 32. If you have the book, you can just cross off the words in the bottom of the box as we go through them. Each word is only used once. And of course, just to again impress upon you the power of collocations, if I showed this list to a native English speaker, they would be able to very easily guess the word that goes into these boxes because they're common collocations. They wouldn't need this box of clues down below at the bottom of the page. Okay, so anyway, let's go over these, and hopefully you'll pick up some good expressions to use next time you write your email. Okay, so let's start, of course, with number 1. Number 1, I am beep to you because. Now be careful because we have the preposition to, right? What word collocates with to, and then when you're contacting someone for the first time, there's also little clues in the book. You can see little clues at the end of each sentence. It says when contacting someone, maybe for the first time or for a subsequent time, but this is an expression that would occur at the beginning of an email. What word in the box below should go in the blank? Well, you probably see the word down there, writing. I am writing to you because. Now, of course, you could also say, I am contacting you because, but because we have the preposition to, you should not put contacting in the blank because contact and to, that is not a collocation. We don't say, I am contacting to you, right? I covered this in the previous unit, Unit 2. That is incorrect, right? That is incorrect. So I am writing, but with writing, you need to use the preposition to. I am writing to you because. So I'm contacting you because, or I'm writing to you because. Okay, so that's a common way to begin an email. That's a good expression to remember. Okay, moving on to number 2. Of course, many times when you send an email, you probably have a file, a larger file, or it could be a PDF, it could be an image, it could be a diagram, some information that you're sending to your business contact. How would you let that person know? Well, it's a very common collocation that we would use. It's please blank attached. What do we put in the blank? In the box below, we can find the word find, right? So please find attached is a very common collocation. So for example, please find attached an MS Word file, or please find attached a map to our office. Now, of course, I get a lot of questions on this one. Many students say, well, I use something different. Is that okay? I'm saying, yeah, sure. This isn't the only expression that you can use. There are many possible expressions. And by the way, I have listed many other alternatives that you could use on pages 33 to 35. So if you have the book, check those out. And of course, they follow the same numbering system as in the exercise. So number one, I'm writing to you because when you're contacting someone, you can find other expressions to use for that. Please find attached. Number two, you can find other expressions that you can use when you attach a file to your email. But this is a very common collocation. Please find attached Momo something to this email. Okay, moving on. Number three, thank you for your blank. When someone, and then the note after this exercise is when someone accepts your situation. So this is, for example, let's say you set up a meeting with somebody and the meeting's coming up, it'll be in a few days, but then something happens and you realize, oh, I can't attend that meeting. So you write to that person and say, I'm sorry, can we postpone the meeting? They write back, that's okay. Then you could reply, thank you for your what? Thank you for your understanding. We find the word understanding in the box below, and that's a very good expression to use when someone accepts your situation, right? And especially when you have to apologize for something, or if they ask you for something and you tell them, I'm sorry, that's not available anymore, and they accept that, and then you write back, you say, well, thank you for your understanding, or we hope that you understand our situation. That's another way that you could write that. Okay. Number four, thank you for your beep in. Okay, so in this case, probably somebody has written to you. They want to know more. I don't want to give the answer right away, but they want to know more about your products, your services, your company. So you reply to them, and a very good way to start that email would be, dear Mr. Smith, thank you for your interest in, right? Thank you for your interest in our product model number, or thank you for your interest in our services. I would be happy to explain what we offer, for example. So that's number four, thank you for your interest in. Number five, you're setting up a meeting, right? And you want to know when you can set up the meeting. You know, of course, obviously what your schedule's like, but you don't know the other person's schedule. So you might write a sentence like this. Please let me know when you are what? What would be in the blank? Please let me know when you are available, not convenient. I see many students, not many, but several times I've seen, it's like a common mistake. Please let me know when you are convenient. That's not correct. Please let me know when you are available, right? People are available. People are not convenient, right? Times and places are convenient. Is 2 p.m. convenient for you? Can we meet at a place near your office? Is that convenient for you? Is it convenient for you to come to our offices, right? So times and places are convenient. People are not convenient. People are available. So please let me know when you are available. Okay, good. Number six, if you're explaining the reason to do something, right, you could use in beep to. What could that be? In order to. For example, in order to guarantee delivery by a certain date, please order 6 weeks in advance or 4 weeks in advance, whatever the lead time is. Or in order to make sure that you can attend the event, please register before a certain date. So in order to, in other words, you're giving someone the reason for your request or the reason that they should do some action. Okay, number 7. This is a very good expression to use if there has been a change in the information or if you think that the reader has the incorrect information, that they have the wrong idea about something. So you want to make sure that they know the new information. You could say, please beep that the date has been changed. What could you use in that case? Please note that. This is a very good collocation to remember. So please note that the date has been changed, right? The meeting was originally scheduled for next Monday, but it has been postponed till next Wednesday. So please note that the date has been changed. Or perhaps they sent you an email, and from their email, you see, oh, they have the wrong information. So you might say, please note that we are asking you to be the keynote speaker, not just a regular speaker, but a keynote speaker. So please note that when you want to correct misinformation, or you want to alert somebody that the information or details of something has been changed. Okay, moving on to number 8. Now, this is a very common way to begin a casual email. Many emails, of course, are casual, and many emails could start like this, especially if you're just sending a quick email to somebody, right? You just want to, that's the answer, just wanted to confirm the date of the meeting with you, or just wanted to remind you, or just wanted to update you on. So a lot of casual emails may start like this, and it's kind of a friendly tone, just wanted to, do something. And by the way, of course, it's not grammatically correct. There's no subject. It should be I or we just wanted to, but in casual writing, sometimes people will leave out the subject, and this is a good example. So, the email might read, Dear Robert or Dear Bob, just wanted to remind you to bring, something to the meeting tomorrow. Okay, so just wanted to. Okay, number 9. This is a good expression to use when you believe or you suspect that there has been some incorrect information, or that the other person has the wrong idea about something, right? So instead of saying, you wouldn't want to be rude in that case. You want to say you're wrong, right? Or you didn't read the email, or apparently you got the wrong information. These are kind of accusatory statements. It's much better to say something like, there seems to have been some blank. What would you put in the blank? Well, you could say, there seems to have been some misunderstanding. That's much more polite, right? Of course, in the box, you see misunderstanding at the very bottom. Also, you can see miscommunication. That's another word that you can put in the blank. There seems to have been some misunderstanding, or there seems to have been some miscommunication. These are good expressions to use when you think that the reader, the person to whom you're sending the email, has the incorrect information, or they sent you an email asking you about something that isn't correct, right? You say, I'm sorry, there seems to have been some misunderstanding. We no longer sell that product, for example. Okay, moving on to number 10. This is a very common expression at the end of an email, right? Perhaps somebody sent you an email, they're asking for some information. You've given them that information, but you want to keep it open. Maybe they have more questions. So you might say, if you have beep questions. Of course, you say if you have more questions, but it's more common to say if you have any questions, or if you have any more questions, if you have any further questions. Or, maybe you're not responding. You're just sending an email. You're telling somebody about something, and they might have questions about it. So again, this is a good way to finish your email. If you have any questions, right, please, We'll get into that. That's another collocation coming up. But please notice, and we covered this in Unit 2, that after any, we use plural nouns, if it's a count noun, right? We talked about that in Unit 2. So if you have any questions, not if you have any question, it's if you have any questions. Okay, good. Okay, number 11. This, unfortunately, is a very common collocation for an email that has bad news. You have bad news for the reader. Too bad. So this is a very common way to begin that type of email. We beep to inform you that. Actually, I should put that, because that really is part of the expression. We beep to inform you that. And of course, you probably got an email like this. That's life, right? We regret to inform you that. You know, there's a very common, it's kind of a cliche email to receive, or a letter to receive from a college, right, that rejects a student's application. Right? If you're trying to get into a very high-ranked university, they're very selective, and so that they send out a lot of these rejection letters. Rejection letter. We regret to inform you that we are not accepting your application, or your application has not been accepted to our school. But of course, you could use it for many different situations. We regret to inform you that we no longer sell this product, or we regret to inform you that we do not provide service in your region, for example. So if you have bad news, this is a very common expression, very common collocation to begin your email to inform the reader of that situation. Okay, moving on to number 12. Again, this is very common at the end of an email, and it kind of is connected with number 10. I said that, you know, we're going to see this collocation coming up. If you have any questions, you know, please do not beep to contact me. Of course, you've probably seen this, or maybe you use this. Please do not hesitate to contact me. So please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions, or if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. You know, it doesn't matter which position you put these expressions. But again, see, these are good collocations to remember, because if you remember these exactly the way they are, you've already got a building block for part of your sentence. And of course, you can put them together just like this, and you've already got perfect English sentences to use in your email. Okay, and that's kind of what our target is for this lesson. Okay, let's move on. Number 13. Please beep me too. When you want to do something, maybe it's going to take the reader's time. It's a good idea to, you know, ask them for permission. For example, please allow me to introduce myself. Please allow me to explain the features of our product. Please allow me to brief you on the background of this situation. So there's a kind of a common expression you can use when you have a lot of information. It's going to take the reader some time. They're going to have to pay attention to the details that you have following. Maybe it's a little bit lengthy. So this is a good expression to introduce that information. Number 14. This is also very common, similar to number 10 that we just looked at. If you beep anything else. So of course you can ask them if they have any more questions, but you can also say if you need or require anything else. And again, in the book at the bottom in the box, you have need/require. I would recommend using require if it's a formal email, and we'll get into that in the next video lesson when we go over Unit 4, talking about the tone of your email. But either one's okay. If you need anything else, if you require anything else. Personally, I prefer using require for professional business emails. Again, we'll talk about that in Unit 4. But this is also very common. If you require anything else, please do not hesitate to contact me. Or please do not hesitate to contact me if you require anything else. Okay. Number 15. This is very common. Everybody uses this, especially at the ends of emails, right? Because in your email, you might be setting up an appointment, or you might be announcing a symposium or an event that perhaps you're arranging. And it's very common to use this expression at the end of an email to show your enthusiasm, to show your happiness about an upcoming event or something, or some action that you hope the reader will take. And of course, you've probably seen this before. We're looking what? We're looking forward to. And by the way, in the book, of course, at the end of this expression, I did make a note for you. We're looking forward to, and then verb ing or event. So what are a couple of examples of that? We're looking forward to verb ing. We're looking forward to meeting you. We're looking forward to listening to your presentation. We're looking forward to hearing about your company, for example. So verb ing. Examples for event. Well, we're looking forward to your presentation. we're looking forward to the symposium, right? So it's very common to use verb ing or event after this expression. And you're just expressing your enthusiasm about an upcoming event or an upcoming action. Oh, by the way, sometimes I get this question too. Sometimes you might see in emails, people will write, we look forward to. So we look forward to. Now, it doesn't matter which verb tense you use. We're looking forward to or we look forward to. They mean the same thing, and they're both very common in emails. So don't worry about those. But be careful. Do not mix them, right? Don't say we're look forward to. No, or we looking forward to. Those are incorrect. So, right, so don't mix them, obviously. So it's either we're looking forward to or we look forward to. We look forward to meeting you next week. That's fine. No problem. There's really no difference between either one. Okay, good. Moving on to number 16. Again, let's say you're setting up a meeting. So you would like to set up a meeting at your earliest beep. Now, we talked about this already a few slides ago, right? People are not convenient. Dates and times are convenient. So we're talking about earliest. We're talking about time. So at your earliest convenience, right? What time is convenient to you? Which is the earliest time that is convenient to you? So we would like to meet with you at your earliest convenience. Or please send the file at your earliest convenience. The time that is earliest for you, that is good for you, please do the action that we're requesting. Now again, don't use this expression for something that is urgent, because if you say, please send the file at your earliest convenience, well, their earliest convenience might be 2 weeks from now, and you're expecting to get it by the end of the week. So if it's urgent or it's important, I believe I covered this before, give them a deadline, right? Please send the file by Friday. But if it's not that important, or, you're just sending out an email to somebody, you're not sure if they will reply or not, and it's really up to them whether they will do the action. Of course, this is a good expression to use. Please send the file, or please contact us, or if you have any questions, please contact us at your earliest convenience. Something like that. Something that is not urgent. Okay. Number 17. We covered this in Unit 2 when we were talking about when you asking somebody to do something and you're expressing you're asking them politely to do something. So I would beep it if. Remember, we talked about this at length, actually, in Unit 2. I would appreciate it if. Don't forget these two little words back here, right? So that's a strong collocation. I would, or we would, appreciate it if you sent the file by Friday. Don't forget these two words there. It's a strong collocation. If you don't have them there, it sounds odd. You've broken the collocation, basically. And it's not grammatical in many cases. Now, of course, we talked about different ways to use appreciate. You don't always have to use it if, but in this construction, yes, you do. I would appreciate it if you sent the file by Friday, or if you could send the file by Friday. Okay, moving on, the last exercise. Let's say that you are performing some action, not just for yourself, but for a larger group of people, maybe for your team, for your company. So you might write on behalf of, right? On behalf of. On behalf of the sales team at ABC Company, we wish you a happy holiday season, for example. Or on behalf of ABC Company, we would like to express our deepest appreciation for your participation in the recent symposium, right? So something, that you're thanking the person, or you're saying that you're doing some action, not just from yourself, but from your entire group. Okay, so these are very common collocations that you will find in emails. I hope that they help you in the next email that you write. And like I said before, check out the other expressions that you can find on pages 33 to 35. And what I've done there, of course, is broken them down. The title, when explaining the purpose of your email, there are several other expressions to use, not just the one that you found in exercise 1. And of course, 2, when attaching a file to your email, we saw that please find attached. What are some other expressions? So for all 18 expressions, I tried to give you some more examples that you can use. A lot of these, though, are collocations. Number 7, please note that. Please be advised that. Please take note that. These are common collocations that you can use in your emails. And of course, also some little usage notes as well for some of these. So check it out. Please consider buying the book so that you can check out that extra information. Okay, and as usual, if you have any questions or if you have any other expressions that you would like to ask about, please feel free to ask that question in the comment section down below under the video. Thank you for studying with me as always, and I hope this information is helpful to you. We'll see you in the next unit, Unit 4, when we talk about tone. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.